and they'll be like, "What's wrong?"
Do you usually do it at 7?
Well,
or you're just late?
6:30, and then we're always like 6:40.
Yeah.
So like being a little closer.
And you would have been late, but I stepped in here for Marlon while he
Yeah.
gets ready for it.
He kind of zipped down there.
He's here,
He's
but
here.
yeah.
He's here, but he told me to get everything going. Like, can I see my comments? Producer Hayden. We have producer Hayden in the house again this week.
There is none.
This
The
is what
best
happens
producer ever. Maybe.
when Clint isn't here. Everything falls apart. You see?
We got
Just
a
kidding.
few people tuning in. Like, we got a YouTube comment. We're live
There we
on
go.
YouTube. And we got a Facebook.
Zach1417, Jonas Hadley.
We're good.
Good to see you guys.
What's up? What's up?
All right.
Everyone here. What? Why is that?
Oh,
live?
here's Steve H.
There we
He's in the
go.
conversation. That's
Oh.
Brett,
Oh.
Brennan, TJ. Man, they're pouring in now.
Oh, yeah.
All right, good to see you guys. Yeah. So what?
Never mind.
Never mind. You know what's funny is I was on the Quinault, the Quinault reservation.
I just thought it was funny.
The reservation,
Yes.
and there happens to be a river nearby.
Oh, weird.
And
Is it the same name as the reservation?
I'm not going to go that far.
okay.
We don't want, yeah. But
No, I'm kidding.
no, actually, it wasn't that one. It's the one more north.
Oh, okay.
So okay, yeah. So we were fishing there in the fall, and I'm rolling through, and I see a guide I had fished with there, 5-6 years ago, and I like say hi to him, and he's all cool and everything. And as he's taking off, he never minds me, and it was funny. It's like it's
not
always
that
at
funny.
it's always at random times, just very rarely. But it's yeah.
It's really funny when you're like trying to talk like boat to boat and you're out there trolling in the fall. It's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
And then you're actually trying to like really think that the person has like something,
Yeah.
And never mind. And
I
it's like, oh,
I feel yeah.
being a jerk. Like, there's something going on that
I know.
know.
I know. It's so bad.
If you guys have people out there, it hurts. It hurts right here. But
Yes, yes.
do me a favor, guys. We are talking fishing etiquette tonight.
Mm-hmm.
This is always a great conversation, and there's a lot. There's always a lot of good info and good stories and good back and forth that we get.
I'm seeing some stuff about your microphone. Is that the case right now?
You know what? Let's try this again.
Oh, really? Was it?
Cam's mic is messed up. Can't hear
It's
Cam.
basically just me talking there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna try to figure out this.
Got
mic
it. It was on
situation.
me. I think it was on, and I turned it off when I thought I was turning it on, and vice versa. Either way,
Yeah,
we're
appreciate
good.
that.
But okay, starting over. Fishing etiquette tonight. Always a good conversation, a good engaging conversation for you guys to ask questions. Give us some stories. Give us some situations. We've got a laundry list of stuff we kind of want to run through. How to approach different situations on the river, and how to basically move some boats around, and like what perceptions are from like a guy who's going into the area versus a guy that was already there and a guy that's moving through. It's always a good one, so be sure give this video or give this live feed a thumbs up if you were on the old YouTube, and share this out to some of the groups, because there's a lot of freaking ding dongs out there that probably could use this conversation. Just saying. And the more you put it out, the more people will get in here. As always, thank you, James, for the awesome crabbing video. That was a lot of fun. Dane Proctor, I told you could message Millennial Bait Co. for that hoodie.
Which one?
I had a Got Shrimp hoodie on last week.
The got shrimp.
So that etiquette conversation
Yeah.
is there's a lot to it, because it depends on the
Right.
whether you're in a sled or whether you're in a drift boat
Yep.
or on the bank. There's
Yep.
so many different, the size of the river, where do you go by, all that. So
You want the spot, get there first. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot of that kind of stuff. But even getting there first, sometimes you know what? We all have, I don't want to get into it yet. I did like what Brad said. Is it wrong to push abrasive passengers over when passing bankies? I mean, it is always the right time to push annoying clients over. Passengers over at any given time.
so someone
Yeah, let's try to keep this too focused.
Yeah.
Pick a subject, let's talk about it for a little bit, and then move on to the next.
Yeah. Real quick, someone asked if anybody has been getting any steelhead this fall, and that's something you guys had just talked about. Was that the podcast or the?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. It's on the podcast, but you're talking about those early winter steelhead. And then also, what about the fact that there's going to be a bunch of late summers hanging around? And so what's kind of your telltale signs right now?
Yeah. I had a buddy message me. He's like, I'm already getting the winners on the old local river. And I'm like, I don't want to tell him. I don't want to tell him. I don't want to tell him.
Because, it's still fun to hook a steelhead, but those actual winter steelhead are starting to come in, at least around here. But
this I would say that this time of year, like any signs of
Dude,
pinkish,
if it
and if it's
ain't
green
dime chrome, it
right,
ain't a winner.
dime chrome,
Basically, yeah.
spotting. The summers are going to be fairly spotted versus like the
They're also gonna be
blueback,
skinnier.
grayback,
They're gonna be
and
much
skinny.
skinnier.
Yeah, no, it's generally pretty easy to tell, but sometimes it's hard. And you've got guys that are out there fishing. They're doing some late salmon fishing, and they're running into one. It can happen. And one thing also too to realize, like those late summers, if they have spawned already, as they're going to be doing over the next month or two, and they start kelting and start moving downstream, they get bitey again, really bitey. Those downers, they spawned, they switched off the spawn mode, and now they're working their way back down, and they will bite a lot of presentations and a lot of offerings.
absolutely.
Yeah, if it's winter, I get it. If it's a summer, my buddy does. There you go, exactly. Everybody's got the winter except for the guy posting, then that's a summer.
That's my favorite thing. Whenever I get a picture of like the first winter, I'll text him back and be like, no, that's a summer, bro.
Yep, marlins. Yeah, exactly. I did catch one. There's kind of that fall wild run around here, actually, of those late fish. I caught one in December that was totally fat and fairly chrome, but with that, greenish tint.
You tell me it was a summer, you just
It's
came
a
in
summer.
later.
Yep. Yeah. So, but what are you guys going to start with as far as etiquette goes? Like bank fishing, start out with kind of the basics there.
I'm seeing kind of what the guys are commenting on a little bit right now, and that will probably start our conversation. We have some announcements we're going to fire through.
Yeah, let's get
first.
a
And
prize pack going
pack.
first. So we
Yep.
got a pair of mustad pliers here, as well as a couple rooster tails. You ever seen these rooster tails?
Dude, those are like spinner baits.
Isn't that sick?
No, yeah, I remember.
That's
The
killer.
supers.
No, remember. Jared was telling us about that at.
Yeah.
That iCast.
Yeah.
Can you imagine for smallies? Because they already crush them.
I guarantee I could go out there and catch one right now. I was doing it today. Not
Really?
on those, but smallies.
Smallies?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
As long as you're biting.
Smallies, right?
Hey guys, if you guys
it's
want an
November.
opportunity to win this prize pack, do us a huge favor, guys. Thumbs up the video, share it out there to some family and friends, share it on Facebook groups, wherever you like to share things. And then everyone watching, drop a comment.
Slide
Let's
the
see where
mouse.
everyone's tuning in from.
Derek, you got to have me down. You know what time, you know where. Thanks for saying hi. You should come with.
We got Castle Rock, we got Coos Bay. Yeah, these are nice pliers, little split rings. They ain't bad. They ain't bad.
Mustad? Nice. Split ring pliers, those are handy.
There, let's do that. Centralia, Washington,
California, Camas, Forest
Oak
Grove.
Plain,
Turdville, Portland.
Fife,
Oh, I've never heard of that place.
Beaverton, Vader.
Bader.
I love that place. Redmond. Casting spinners out of a boat in front of the guides. That'll be fun
Always.
to hear how
Always.
Mr. Guide reacts.
I like to
to all
cast
this.
lead at them.
Yeah, lead.
If I'm on the bank and the guides are
Look,
cruising
man,
by
if
me,
you're jealous just because the guide's catching more
6
fish than
to-
you, I mean, whatever,
6 to
that's on
10
you.
ounce leads go flying.
Just because the guides catch them.
You're upset, and your tears don't hurt me.
I love it when they're not and you hook one in front of them and they just tell their customers to look away. Look away.
What's up in California? We got a bunch of Californians in the building tonight.
Swim in the rain shadow.
Coquille, Happy Rock,
Washington, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
What?
Nice. We're gonna be going. We're going to Pennsylvania soon, there, dude. We're gonna head out there and fish for a couple of days.
There's BG's only.
We got
right
Canada.
there.
Where?
BG? No, he said BG.
BG's only or
Sassa.
BG's finest? Which one?
Wasn't that
Saskatoon,
like the BG?
Saskatchewan, Canada.
Langley.
Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's
I'd love to
Say
go-
it 3 times
I'd
fast.
like
Let's see
to
it.
go hunting there for
Well, yeah.
whitetail
Yeah.
monsters.
200 CFS hatchery run yelling etiquette. Interesting. How loud do
Cam,
you
we should
yell
get a
when the
notepad and
water's
write down
low?
some topics that we
Yeah,
can cover.
Let's do it.
I got you right
got
here.
your
I got you.
notepad?
I use my phone.
I think We got to get some good topics that we can talk about.
I've already seen the one, like, I see a lot of people are talking, like, about the guys pulling plugs in front of the bankies, so we can...
So that's
always kind of a tough one.
So the overarching subject of that's going to be, you know, guys in the boats versus guys in the banks. Like, what's the proper etiquette with different scenarios there? Maybe we can talk about different scenarios.
Even boat ramp etiquette.
The whiteboard will be used tonight.
So, yeah, boat ramp etiquette's probably a good one to talk about, Cam.
Oh, there's only one thing about that, but we can,
There's going to be more than one thing.
Brights on.
Low holing is going to be a big discussion, I think.
Yes.
So low holing should definitely be on there.
With the whole bank boat thing, like, when there's bank guys, do you go close to them, you know?
But let's hear, guys. Drop some comments below. Let's hear, what are your subjects that you guys want us to cover tonight? Cam's going to grab some notes so we can just try to go through each of the subjects. We probably won't get to all of them, but a lot of the overarching ones, we're going to try to cover them in little segments here. So if you guys can drop some good comments of what do you think people need better advice on, or what do you guys want to have a discussion about as it pertains to etiquette? And this could be boat, this could be, basically we're more thinking just kind of tributary etiquette right now, where a lot of the small river stuff is what people are fishing. So yeah, let's hear some subjects, and Cam will pull them out and put them into his little magical notepad. Thanks, Garrett Lockaby, we appreciate that. Bank fishing versus guide etiquette. I'm not quite sure what that means. Like, a guide in a boat versus a guy banking?
I mean, if you're in a boat and you only can move from one spot to another, you automatically get all the right of way in front of all the bankies.
I think boat versus bankies.
Automatically, if you're in a boat, you automatically get to do whatever the hell you want and completely disregard any bank fisherman at all times.
You're so stupid.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So you better buy a boat.
The question is, you know, it's always like, hey, you got the whole river to fish. Why are you anchoring in front of me?
Well, you have the whole river to fish too. Why don't you go use your feet and walk?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about boat versus bank, so I think that's going to be a big one we'll cover.
How late can a guide be before you don't tip? Well, Ben, that depends. If that guide has other better clients that make up for the bad clients, then you can tip whatever you want.
Is there a legitimate reason? Did he get
What's that now?
Did he get a flat tire, or is he
Ben's just giving me crap, so I'm giving it back.
Nice.
That's what I have good clients for.
So I think one of the discussions we should have, Cam, is the when in Rome discussion. Put that on there.
Yeah, that's a...
I've seen that a couple times about, like, different techniques.
I think a lot of people think I was serious about the boating thing. We will talk about it, but what I said was not serious.
Hey,
we'll work through it. We'll work through it. Trust me.
You bank fishermen out here that run triple wobblers. One of the best things that I saw this year that was one of my favorite things, and shout out to the people that were doing this. A couple of you guys fishing this year had air horns, and it was my favorite thing in the world, because whenever I got anywhere like near your lines, I heard that air horn, and I was like, I better turn out. And I would just turn out. So I was like, I'm getting an air horn, dude. That's a good way to keep people away from your lines.
Yeah, and it's just letting them know that's good.
When fishing from the bank, how much room should a conventional fisherman give a fly fisherman? None. It depends. Are they wearing an NFS sweatshirt? Because then I would stand right next to them.
Usually just go above, right?
Okay, these are all good topics, guys.
No.
These are all super good topics.
How's crabbing been in Astoria? Going out next weekend. Check the latest YouTube video.
Crabbing's been good, guys.
Yeah, like, for whatever reason, just ridiculously good.
509 Films, it's one of the best investments you'll ever make. I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories of guys going out for years trying to catch winter seal, and then they go on one guided trip and they realize all the things they were doing wrong, and it'll make all the difference in the world, man.
509, I could tell you story after story. It's not so bad, but I literally, on one of my local haunts, in this one little like obscure launch that I have access to, I call it the first steelheader's hole, because I will launch the boat, I'll row down into this run, and generally, like certain times a year, when you time it right, there's always like a steelhead in this like one spot. And I can literally go to that spot and be like, all right, where's the steelhead? And they'll be like, oh, he's over here in this, or he'll be over here. And I'll be like, I want you to cast it 10 feet straight out. I want you to drift it perfectly. It's going to go right there, and the bobber's going to go down. And I can't tell you how many like guys that have like tried to catch a steelhead for years have gone out on that river, just got the lay of the land, had somebody sitting there going like this, this, in one spot, and then it goes to a different style of spot, and then this, and they come away and they catch a few fish and they come away with a whole nother understanding. And my favorite question is like, what do you think you were doing wrong? And it's pretty crazy because steelhead are stupid. They will bite. They will eat. They eat a bead, right? They eat a bead. If you present to them correctly and you fish where they're at, that's the big one, and make sure your gear's in front of them, there's a lot of different stuff that steelhead will eat that you can catch them on. So a lot of times it's just that little bit of extra like, oh, you're just off a little bit. Like, no, they're not right here in this like glassy tail out at this time of water. They're in this spot. Usually people are really close, but if in steelhead, it is a game of like, if you're off just a little bit.
Yeah. And Marlin, when I was fishing and kind of learning steelhead from Marlin, one of the things, he would give me a lot of, instruction on the go just about where your presentation is at in relation to the bottom. And I think that's huge. Like if I was, fishing a hole that's like 7 foot and I wasn't quite in the zone, he'd be like, change that now. Just constantly paying attention to that.
We're going to talk, once we get into more winter steelhead feeds, we're going to talk a lot about that, Lucas, in the coming weeks. But I will say, as I've fished over the years, that is one of the biggest mistakes most anglers make is not fishing deep enough.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the things why you can go in confidently behind people and catch fish. And I've seen, even in scenarios where you wouldn't think, like this year during when me and Cam were filming down on the Oregon coast, we could not find the fish. We could not find them, and we just realized, we were not fishing even close.
We fished 90% of the river, and I finally was getting so pissed off and frustrated that I started fishing them at like 25 feet.
Yeah.
And I got like 2 back to back, and we all got all excited, and we thought we were gonna like catch them the rest of the way. We go around the corner, there's the boat ramp.
Oh, yeah.
It was a river we never fished before,
Yep.
but we caught some.
Yep.
Yeah, you can be off.
Definitely, it's a big thing for depth is huge.
Well, and one of my favorite ways to figure that out, if I don't already know the bottom of a river, with those addicted fixed floats and a jig, it will tell you exactly what the bottom is, and you can like look at your depth on the line. So it's like I can run bobber and just that jig, and it'll start tipping over if I'm hitting the rocks too much. I just pay attention to that, shorten up a little bit. And if you watch Marlin when he's steelhead fishing, it's like every cast, boom, moves it, 3, 10.
Ooh, that's a...
Okay, guys, so we're still just trying to get we are off topic a little bit, but it's because we're trying to let your guys' comments come in and get enough good questions written down so we can get on the topic. So again, if you want an opportunity to win, if you guys are just now, I see we have almost 100 more viewers now that may not have heard this. We're giving away a set of Mustad Fishing 7-inch pliers and 2 rooster tails. So if you want an opportunity to win it, please do us a favor, thumbs up the video, share it out to some family and friends, and then just be interacting in the comments. We're looking for good etiquette topics. So if there's situations out on the river that are talking about fishing etiquette, we want to talk about them tonight. So let's get your suggestions down below. We'll keep jotting them down over here over the next 5 minutes, and then we'll get right into the subject.
So yeah, like Nate basically asked your when in Rome question about like
it's funny.
techniques.
Yeah, that's gonna be. You're gonna hear a lot of stuff referenced in those situations tonight, because I think that's where a lot of people can get a little hung up on. But yeah.
Well, we've got actually we actually got some cool stuff, just to discuss right away if we want to go ahead with it.
Yeah, we will. 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
me
All right, get your
5
questions
minutes.
in. A lot of these are great.
Lucas what is Clint
questions.
talking about there? Garden Frugal.
Garden Frugal, is that
That's Clint. That's little Clint.
Oh, nice. Yes, the shout out on Outdoor GPS. Thank you. Clint? He's Garden Frugal?
Don't ask. It's weird.
Low hole
that's
Clint?
Yep, that's him.
Okay.
Like our ex-producer Clint.
Oh,
We have Hayden now.
What?
We have Hayden every week now.
Dude, I mean, I love Hayden. He looks like Robert Plant.
Hayden
but
got hired. Look at that. He's not on his phone.
That's
He's paying
true.
attention right now.
He has been very.
He's not yelling.
He's been awesome.
Yeah.
I've
I
had
will
comments
say,
all the time.
Hayden's been very cognizant and very
I haven't had to ask for comments.
very dialed in.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, and he's one of the,
I know Clint's about to throw his phone against the wall, so let's just.
the dynamic duo of.
Oh, that's right, Clint.
Hayden and Colt, right? They're kind of
Yep.
the twins there. It's Robert Plant and Morgan Wallen. It really is.
Oh.
Yeah, should we talk about Hayden and Colt's little mishap?
I don't know.
Hayden saying no. He's going like this.
Yeah.
All right, I won't bring it up. Parking is the start sometimes.
Just park right in front of the launch and you got it to yourself.
Yeah, we should talk about that. Just, you know, when it's okay to like go fish right next to someone versus not, you know?
Yeah.
And
Man, where are these guys? Like, I'm just trying to figure out where are all these guys like screwing these bank guys? Because I've seen that question like from 10 different.
It happened
Like,
once.
where?
And we want to, complain about it.
Yeah, I mean,
We like giving you guys crap, but
here's the thing. Here's the deal. I guess you could have the guides take those people down, or you could have all those other people buying their drift boats and taking themselves down. Like, I don't know. But
people just don't like it when there's tons of people on the river, and so they're always going to have an issue with that.
All right, let's pick a winner, Hayden.
I don't, because I still get mine.
Pick a winner, and then we're going to jump right into the subject, guys.
Yeah, here we go.
Gabe asked about sleds going in opposite directions. Who has right of way?
What?
If you have sleds going in opposite directions up and down river.
No, we got to
who
talk about that too. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Right away, bank.
There it
versus
is,
bank.
Josh McCuchin. I think that's how you pronounce your last name. I have no idea though. But Josh, shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you include your first and last name. Let us know what you want, your shipping address, and we will get this shipped out to you. Thanks again,
got
Josh. And thanks to everyone that shares and comments and interacts with the feed. It's much appreciated.
We'll have more prize packs later on tonight, guys.
Yeah, I already got another one sitting right here, filet way, Matt. We're gonna give away.
Okay,
So
man,
stay
I
tuned.
just feel like I just might as well
Whiteboard them.
warm them up.
Whiteboard them.
Whiteboards.
Okay, I think the number one question has been between boat and bank, so I think we should start there.
Yep.
Let's just go there. I mean, like I said before, if you're on the bank, pound sand. Sorry, get a boat. That's it. Game over.
Well, I
doing
would
it
tend
won't.
to disagree. So,
Later, buddy.
I think it's all.
Drive safe.
Bye, Alex.
I think a huge thing here is all relative to pressure.
Absolutely.
Like how many, at a hatchery hole, you're just going to do things a little different than you would on any other hole in the river because there's already 100 people there. So you're going to have to kind of get used to everyone crowding along. But then on rivers that have less people and stuff, and there's more options with boats, use a little more caution there. But there's certain times that the fish are only a few places.
So let's start here, Cam.
And the boat
Let's
has to
start,
go there.
What's the best etiquette? Let's start with the boat.
Okay.
So let's just start with the boat. Let's just talk about some things that a boat, someone running a sled or a drift boat or a raft should know when they're in the smaller rivers if they may not already.
Right. First off, size of river. Like, one thing people, and this is like where I really like kind of draw the line, like with like people like setting these obscure like low holing boundaries.
Distances. Yeah.
Right, distances and stuff. None of that means anything, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, like what it is like, if I'm going into the situation, whether I'm a banky or whether I'm a boater moving down the river, am I now in what I'm going to do, whether I'm moving through or whether I'm fishing it, is it going to impede on what somebody else is doing in that area that they're fishing? And when I say that area, I'm talking like their cast, their drift, their sweep out. After that, like that's the area that person, because that person was there first, right?
Yeah.
It goes to the first. But it is situational because, and like I said, I'm going to say the frickin', it's the river, because you have times where if the river is really small, like let's say I'm a banky and I'm on the bank and I'm fishing and the river is very, very tiny, like I can cast across it, the water's really clear, a boat has to move through. Mm-hmm. Like chances are like the boat's not going to come down and like fish right in front of you if it's only like a 25-foot wide like section of river, right? Mm-hmm. That boat should carry on and he should do whatever he can safely to maneuver maybe off of like your fish. Just a few weeks ago, Blair and I were coming down like a pretty big river and we were coming down on a kicker. We had some motor issues and there were some bankies like on the tight side, and we saw them casting bobbers to the far side. And like I kind of like swung the boat like right in on them, like from me to you away. And like, hey, sorry guys, like we're just gonna come through. And they like looked at me like I'm like, oh, I'm trying to stay off where your fish are sitting.
Yeah.
You know, so you have to kind of understand like the boat's gonna move through how you safely can move through.
And usually, so in this scenario, really quick though, because normally like what Cam would do in that scenario, if they're going down river and they're using a kicker, he may not have an opportunity to talk to the angler. But normally, when we're rowing down in a raft, we'll ask the guy,
if
like, do you want us to go far or near? You know,
does first come, first serve apply? 100%. Absolutely 100%. We are gonna set some like exceptions to that rule, but like having that first come, first serve. Now, if you're in a situation where water clarity is really bad, if you have a very big river, it can be fished from both sides, the fish are in the middle. Those standards of like how you're passing somebody or how much room you're giving, they do change. And pressure. Pressure changes that too. I mean, if it's just boat after boat after boat and everyone's just kind of getting in where they're fitting in, like those boundaries do get smaller. Case in point was the river we went up. We fished a new river a bunch of years ago. Start fishing. We launched way above everybody because everyone was too afraid. We came down, got to where the people were at. Once we got there, we started like fishing runs, and guys were like floating like right over the top of like where we're at. And we're like, first guy does it, and we don't say anything because we don't want to be ever the guy in any situation ever to elevate it. And we're like, I mean, literally like our bobber's in front of his drift boat. It's going by, and it's like, okay, like, and we're pissed.
We're like,
pissed.
what in the world? But we don't say anything to guys. We
we're
just
like,
let it go.
You know, just let it go. Next boat comes by, does the same crap. And we're like, and so finally, like, we realized, like, wait, this is just kind of how things go here.
Well, the third thing that happened was we were literally fishing a run, and this guy comes right below us and starts pulling plugs. And I was like,
now, right below,
did that just happen?
Right, now see, this wasn't a bank versus boat. We were anchored in the boat, anchored, fishing from the side, and the guys that were floating over a run, the guy just swung in behind us and just started fishing below us. Well, the reality was in that situation is the visibility on the river was it's junk.
Glacier, super
It's
glacier.
junk. It's like a foot. So guys going over the top of other people's fish and stuff like that really wasn't doing anything. Like it wasn't like flaring the fish off. They weren't disrupting our cast. They were moving through, but they were making no effort to like come to us or go to the far bank. But the reality was their boats were going over the top of the fish and the fish didn't even know they were there. So it depends really like in those, like I said, it's very, 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 very situational because I do see a lot of these guys like, well, the guy just pulled in front of us, dumped his plugs in and moved down, right? I'm not going to say in every situation the guide is definitely in the right. And I'm going to say guide. I shouldn't say guide. I should say boater because you guys, I hate to break it to you. There's a bunch of dipstick guides out there, okay? Like there is. There's people that probably shouldn't have the guide licenses. There's guys that don't last long in this industry because like they don't make very many friends very quickly. You get what I'm saying? So like just because they have the guide sticker doesn't mean we're going to lump those guides in with the other guides. So we're just going to say the boater. The reality is like if a boater is going to come through, and I do hear this a lot.
There's a lot of boaters that aren't guides.
Well, the reality is there's a lot of boaters that aren't guides as well. True. So boaters, if they're going to come in and dump plugs, you have to kind of look at it with the pressure thing because if the river's backed up and there's tons of people and everyone's getting in, like I'm not generally going to dump my plugs in like from me to you away from a guy like fishing, but like the guys that were bumping down just below where we're fishing, like I don't own that other 100 yards down below where I was fishing at all. And if anybody thinks that they do, I would like to strongly recommend go ahead and take that mentality to like a hatchery run where guys are fishing from me to you and then you get there first and then try to tell the next guy that's going to come down that, oh, no, I have this 100 yard, whatever this low holing thing you say is. So again, it's very, 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 very situational.
Yeah,
so,
like
I don't know. Other than that, I mean, did I miss anything, or like how much more do you explain that? But basically, it all depends where the hell you're at. Yep. There is no answer.
Like two different examples would be like you have a coastal river for Chinook in the early fall when there's not a bunch of rain, and you might only have a select few holes that people have to fish, and the drift boats are going through, and they kind of have an understanding locally that even in this little hole, that 5 guys are going to pile up there, fishing out of their drift boats in that little hole, but they're all going to cast eggs and bobbers or something. And one of them's not arriving while everyone's doing that and then just pulling plugs right through the middle of it. But, of course, if he's downriver, he can do that. And then you've got some of these areas that there's just insane pressure all in one area. And it might be like a trolling in a circular fashion, and everyone's aware, you got to do that. Or casting and side drifting and moving down, next sled comes through, and you kind of have an understanding we're going to work this area. So, yeah,
so then it goes.
So let's bring the situations into the fold then. Say you're on a river that's not super busy.
Okay.
How does a bank angler handle it? What's the most professional way to handle it if he's fishing in a hole where there's clearly a lot of other places to go, and a boat comes down and just starts fishing right on top of him?
Communication with them, first of all. Hopefully that boat...
Because I saw that a lot, and it seems like that must happen a lot.
So the boats, I would think, in that situation, should at least be like, hey, do you mind if we fish here? Even if you're just another bank angler and there's a lot of room and stuff, just connecting and be like, hey, do you mind if I go above you?
And I think that's going to be a common theme throughout this live feed when we talk about all these subjects is communication.
Yeah.
That's like number one key out there.
But I would want to move to another hole, wait till he's done, and then come back.
Would you go, so let's say I'm just going to give you another situation. This is something for the boater to think about. There's 5 guys on the bank, boom, 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 lined up. They're casting across. There's really no room. It's a smaller-ish river. Yeah. They're fishing it bank to bank. Let's just say that. And they're all 5 working it. The boat guy comes in and drops his plug. So he's doing a different technique than the guys are already there. Yep. And what gives the plug guy the right to do that when now he's impeding on those 5? Yep. To the point where, like, what if those 5 guys were on the bank again, and another banky would come up and decided like he wanted to like plunk right in the middle of them?
Yeah.
To me, it's like it's like a different technique that's now affecting what the people were doing there before you were there. Yeah. Like, so you wouldn't do that. Like, and generally, like, you wouldn't necessarily go to like an area where a bunch of guys, like, let's say you go to like Bonneville Dam and there's 25 guys plunking and there's just rod tips everywhere. A guy wouldn't go like right there and like throw the bobber through it.
Yeah.
So to me, they'd get killed. To me,
seen lots of fights there.
To me, it's like, so honestly, and I'm just going to be dead honest with you, it's why I don't run a lot of plugs. Because a lot of that technique requires me to have a lot more room than sometimes the river is going to yield me. And I'm not going to tell boaters, don't pull plugs, like you shouldn't pull plugs because it's rude. Like, you do whatever the hell you want to do. Yeah. But what I'm saying is you don't generally go into an area where there's a technique being like, for instance, it's no different than like a trolling bubble or a trolling area and a guy dropping an anchor.
But
it's
I'm
the
not
same
even talking about a technique. The guy could be coming in and fishing floats just like the other dude. Is it okay for him to roll into the hole that this dude's fishing, drop anchor at the top of the hole, and start float fishing?
Is he affecting? So the guys, you're moving to Rome. We always say when in Rome, right?
Yeah.
When in Rome, do as the Romans. So there's 5 guys bobber fishing. There's nothing stopping him from jumping in and pulling over the bank and
bobber fishing.
I misunderstood the question.
There's 1 or 2 guys in a hole.
Are you affecting how those guys were fishing before you got there?
If you were to anchor right on top of the fish or get in the way of their stuff, then yeah. But what you could do is roll up above them, park where you're away from the fish, and maybe start joining their technique.
Like for bobber fishing?
Yeah, if they're cool with it.
I don't think
that's what I'm saying, but I think in most scenarios the bank
angler they have to sit in most situations. I think what people are saying is they're bobber fishing a run and a guy like starts running plugs down and then they have to like sit there, pull up their bobbers and wait for the guide boater to like work their stuff down through the hole, and then they leave, and then they go back to fishing.
I'll give you.
And there's that impeding factor, and see, like to me, that's not okay with me. I would do whatever I could to avoid that situation when I'm fishing.
We're fishing a really popular river. There's probably 6 guys in this stretch. It's a popular stretch. A lot of fish get caught there. We come down in the raft. We anchor basically way above people. Okay. We're probably 40 yards above. And we're running our floats down into the hole. We're not messing with them. We're not Those guys were so pissed off at us. They lost it on us.
Well, they're idiots.
Lost it.
Were you affecting anything that they were doing?
No, I wasn't, but they were like, we were here first, and this is all, we were fishing this hole before you, and it's a small hole, and so I got it. So we were like, hey, man, no problem, we'll get out of here. And we rode down and went to the next hole.
See, to me, that's a little out of line.
But that's what I was wondering, is like, in that scenario, is that okay?
See, I think, so I ran into a very similar scenario where the water was really high one day, and there was guys fishing on the bank, and they were maybe trying to fish across, but I actually pulled my raft into like a small creek, and was going to get guys out in the bank, and the bankies on the other side were losing, and it's like, hold on a second, this is a hatchery hole. Yeah. And there's nothing but mud and dirt track on this side right here, because generally other people will just like walk in, and I thought, well, the water's high, the fish are here,
they're not gonna be able to
this is going to be the opportunity, and those bank guys lost it, and I literally like rode back over there, and I said, hey, I just wanted to make sure you weren't leaving any on the table, like what we were going to do was not going to be a big deal. And I just rode out and just found something else to do. Because a lot of times you don't want to have the confrontation, but I still to this day completely think that they were in the wrong. Because I wasn't, if I'm moving into the hole and they're down below, first off, they're down below me and I'm not affecting them, they're not having to wait for my float to go through or anything like that, they have no right to that water. You own the water that you fish while you're fishing it, period. Or while you're sitting in it, whatever. You know what I mean? Like
9 times out of 10, when we're winter steelhead fishing, I don't care what the hole is. If we roll into it and there's one guy in the hole, we leave. We roll to the next hole.
Yeah.
We let him have it.
If you have the option, that's the best way to do it. Just avoid it. If there's plenty of water, the fish are holding all over.
Yeah.
That is the best move.
I mean, that's typically what we do, Cam. Yeah. We don't fish a hole if someone else is fishing it.
Right. No, and
or
generally,
wait till they leave.
Right. And generally, the techniques that we're, I don't pull a lot of plugs. Just.
Yeah, we're usually generally casting
so generally like I seek the water that they're fishing, and I don't have to like do anything, but it's really that impeding. So I'll give another example. Like we were talking about, and this is boat to boat, but guys like trolling in a circle. Like if everyone was trolling in a circle, like you wouldn't just go and just drop your anchor in the circle and then screw up 30 other boats from doing it. It's kind of like that same thing. It's like, well, now everyone was doing just fine. Rome was happening. And now the Greek legionnaire came in there and screwed it all up. Like you can't impede on like what other people are doing. Now, there's also another weird rule. I wouldn't say a weird rule, because a lot of times we always say, first come, first serve. First guy down, he gets to do what he wants, and that's right. But there is times that I would beg to differ. And one of those times would be like, I'm going to keep saying hatchery hole just as an example. I'm not trying to be like derogatory to anybody who fishes a hatchery hole. But let's say there's a hatchery hole and every day there's 20 guys lined up bank to bank and they're float fishing or they're fishing like one way all the time. And that's just kind of like what occurs in Rome, what occurs in that hole every time. And I'm in a drift boat, and one day I'm just going to go down and I want that spot. So I'm going to get down there 3 hours before these 20 bank guys show up to this one spot and anchor there and just own it all day.
Yeah, true.
Probably not going to make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Probably not going to work out as well. So the reality is there is times where, and same goes for like big like trolling lanes and stuff like that. Like generally like going out and just anchoring up in those big trolling lanes where 30 boats are going to be like right at daylight or anything like that. It's
pin
kind
that
of
super
like
chat.
What's that?
Told him to pin the super chats.
Oh, gotcha. You got to understand kind of like where you're going. And then the other thing is if you don't understand where you're going, like I heard there's some fish here, I'm going to go to this spot. This is going to be the first time I'm going to go there. Sometimes it's better to kind of go there and kind of observe, kind of watch, communicate with maybe some local friendly anglers that are there and kind of get into the rhythm of what's occurring there kind of day in and day out before you just go there and then get set in stone and I was here first. Like, well, sometimes that doesn't work either. Mm-hmm. So that rule does change a little bit.
So one thing, what about...
Quickly, thanks for the super chat, Justin. We appreciate it. He says, myself, I don't mind when the boats come on because they stir up the fish. And I would agree with that.
Yes.
I've seen that happen so many times.
Especially locally here.
Yep.
I almost appreciate it when a sled goes ripping by because move them around, they'll fall back into place. And
it happens more often than not.
Now, on certain other rivers, I kind of dislike that, especially if it's super low and clear.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it certainly can do that. What about
when in a boat? What's acceptable then, and I know you're going to say again it's scenario, but say you're in a river that's not very pressured, it's a river that doesn't get much pressure. How far down do I have to go? How far down can I go
If it's
to
a
be
river
below
that's
an
not
angler?
very pressured, and like you said, like I will be in the situation that I'm in, I generally will give people a lot of grace and a lot of room.
Yeah.
Like if I'm fishing some of those other rivers like our buddies live on, like probably can't, because if you do, you're gonna put your bone in at the top and you're never gonna take a cast till you get to the takeout.
Yeah.
So I try to give a lot of grace when I can. I mean, that's just such a tough question.
Well, and if
I
there's-
don't believe nobody owns any part of the water past like where their cast is going.
Yeah, so like if you've got it
I
may
don't
be
think so.
it may be one hole, but it's a giant long run, and they're all up at the top, and they can't effectively cover more than this,
Oh, I'll pitch in on the
100
bottom
feet.
half for sure.
Yeah, then come on
Absolutely.
down
See,
way
and
back here.
I have had multiple scenarios where people get pissed that you do that.
Yeah,
don't
and
care.
they might, but the thing is, what if that bottom like comes up and it's not even fishable where you can
So
keep going?
on our local river, on the hole that's down from the bridge,
Yep.
that hole that's really long and it's got,
You got it.
you know what hole I'm talking
You
about.
gotta get in
so
there,
we're
though.
floating down
Yeah.
one time and there's a fly fisherman swinging and he's at
Oh,
the
no.
he's at the very
Wrong.
top of that hole.
don't give a rip.
And you know how that hole is? It starts in, it's got
You
some really
do
nice buckets at the
not
top and then it
own
goes
Yeah.
down
300
and then it has the
yards of
tail out.
riverfront.
It's a long
Sorry,
stretch.
bud.
And so we get down and we're like, screw it, we'll just fish the very bottom of it. We'll
Yeah.
let him have the rest of it. So we let him have the whole hole and we got to just the very bottom when we start fishing and that guy lost his
Yeah.
mind.
Yep.
I mean, him
Cool.
and Lonnie almost got in a fist fight.
Really?
Perfect. Good.
And that- and that's
you know
like
what? And Lonnie would have
10%.
probably killed him.
He
Like
probably
the
would.
reality, the
That's
reality
10%
is,
of the run, barely.
so let's think about this. What would be a good kind of analogy for that? Like, so let's say I anchor at the top of a run and I'm back bouncing. Maybe there we go. I'm
Yeah.
back bouncing. And I'm working down 30 yards, whatever. I'm bringing it back, and I plan on moving down slowly to the bottom end of the hole, which is 200 yards down there. Do I own that? Because I don't think you do.
No, I don't think so either.
You don't. And so the problem, and like I said, I own spay rods, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, the problem is, like, if I'm sitting above, and that run is long. I know you're talking about a really high one.
Yeah.
Yeah, no freaking way.
Yeah.
Because that is like a 200-yard run
Yeah, it's long.
of prime real estate that is pressured by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And just because you're in a raft and anchored up, if a bank angler came by, which he probably did a short time after you did,
Yeah, exactly.
he probably walked 50 yards below him and started fishing. So no, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't, you're not affecting his swing that he's doing at the time. Maybe give him a little bit of grace, start fishing.
That's exactly what we did.
Unless he's wearing an F sweatshirt, then anchor right in his run and run bait, if it's legal. Not legal there.
So what about like going back to some of the, say a jet sled or a prop boat, in bigger water? What about kind of the rules of thumb there, like how close you can
Okay,
get?
one more time. I'm sorry.
So
What?
if you're running your sled or your
Oh,
prop,
sled.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So what about like there was that one
Yeah.
question from Gabe about going opposite ways on the river, both kind of motoring up and down.
Okay, you always give leeway to the guy coming downstream.
Really?
Always.
Okay.
Because the guy coming downstream, if you're in so this is a sled to sled passing situation. The
Yeah.
guy coming downstream has less control, and if he needs to hop up and run shallower, he needs a longer distance to safely maneuver the boat, right? So if you are in a run and there's a sled at the top and he's coming down and you're coming upstream, it's a lot easier for you to like lay off throttle, let the current push you back, slide to the side, and maybe make a safe maneuver to where you don't run into that, any kind of tight situation, versus the sled coming down who's probably getting into the tail out. And if he gets off plane, the current's still pushing him, and then it takes a longer distance for him to plane. So you always give kind of right away. I don't want to say right away, because like I said, every situation's probably a little different, but the feeling is like if you're going upstream, you back off and let the guy come down in those tight situations. There's one on my local river that is during really low flows. It's actually almost important enough to stop at the bottom of the run for the guy who's going upstream and to turn off their engine just real briefly and just listen, and then go to get up through it because it's kind of blind.
Yeah.
boats passing in those in real low water conditions can lead to some accidents. A guy sunk a boat up there years ago.
Oh, wow.
A lot of guys have smoked some gravel. So generally, that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Sled to sled, downstream guy.
And for the bank anglers, keep that in mind as well. There's a lot of scenarios where sleds cannot slow down.
Yeah.
They have to go by you fast because of the water that they're in, right, Cam?
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna. I mean, you have fishing etiquette, and then you have like kind of a safety situation where a boat has to make a move. And guys, keep in mind too, like if you're bank fishing and some of these drift boats and stuff are coming down, and they have to like avoid a rock in like the top end of a run, and then by the time they get spit out and kind of get the, sometimes they have to go over the runs and they have to do that. So like,
And
it's not a bad thing.
It's not game over at all. I mean, it's crazy how many fish can be caught behind boats if they're there and if people are missing them or fishing effectively.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, what other subjects you got here, Cam?
Can you scroll up just 1 second there?
Clearly.
We're good.
Clearly Kelly Wilson's comment.
What's that?
What did he say?
Said Lucas is the best fisherman in the world.
Okay, what else you got?
All right, let me take a look here.
Cam, what do you got on that list that you wrote down?
I've got some other stuff, but I don't want to like bring it. I've got like people jamming down the river. So guys that it was basically what that means is, and it works on the bank or the boat. Like drift boat runs into a spot, and then you see the guy, and this is what you always see from downriver. There's another boat anchored, and he's like fishing it, and he's just kind of like keeping an eye over his shoulder, keeping an eye over his shoulder, keeping an eye over his shoulder. Oh, here comes the boat. He just sits down, pulls the anchor up discreetly, never turns around again, and then just rows out, right? Basically jamming. That was the question. Like, what do you do? What do you do to combat that? Well, the reality is like if they see you coming, and they want to move down, well, they can move down, but you can use that to your advantage. And
We've done it a couple of times.
what I mean by that
Push guys out.
is I had a guy on one of my local rivers just last year steelheading, where I could tell like I would come around the corner, he'd see me, he'd pick up, and he'd move. And I told my clients, I'm like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. And we were coho fishing, so it wasn't like, and it was actually pretty good fishing, so it didn't really matter. But I told him, I go, we're gonna like not fish that hole he was in, and we're just gonna kind of slow up for about a minute. We're gonna get him settled in the other hole, and then we're gonna jam him out of that because I want to fish that next one. And I tell you what, I jammed him out. I pushed him out of that because every time I got down, he did it to me like 3 times.
Yeah.
And every time he got down to that, I pushed him out of that hole, and then my clients and I proceeded to rope coho for about 2 flipping hours straight. So you got to realize, like, if you're jamming and you're not like, and there's fish in the water, or there's fish moving and you're in a good moving spot, it's like one of those situations where the water's high and fish are moving to you versus you moving to the fish. If you're like trying to race in front of people, it's not necessarily like probably what you want to do, especially if like fish are on the move, which they were that day. And basically the spot that I wanted to fish was a better spot to position fish as they were moving up the river to where my gear was in front of them. And like I said, we goat roped them for 2 hours. Like it was insane. But and the guy, because he had to be in front and get downriver of you, he had to like push down. So there's nothing you really can do to combat that. And that goes for bank anglers too. There's nothing you really can do to combat that. You can't like see a boat in a run and then be like automatically think that I'm going to go down past them and go to the next run. I mean, they have that right to like pick up and move too.
Yeah.
But just realize like sometimes they hurt themselves when they do it.
Makes sense.
There was a really good comment and question there about what we got upcoming. Why don't you tell them about the golden ticket giveaway?
Oh, did someone ask about that?
Yeah, someone asked about it, and we haven't mentioned it yet, but it's pretty massive.
Oh, explain some golden ticket business, boys.
So guys, if you
we'll
guys
take a little break on that. I'm gonna keep writing stuff down. I got
Okay.
boat ramp etiquette, and then we've got some like low-hauling stuff.
Parking.
Yeah.
Talk about parking.
And then I think talking about some tackle etiquette too. Like I've seen people asking, like, you know, if you're new and you're just getting to a hole and you're just learning how to float fish, what's some etiquette for float fishing next to people? And
Yeah.
we can talk about, all that type of stuff a little bit.
Ben Green too. That's a good one. We'll talk about like kind of the nuances of fishing like a really crowded hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Okay, guys. So we officially launched our golden ticket sweepstakes. So what this thing is we have 10 prizes that you can win. The grand prize being an all-inclusive steelhead fishing weekend at Wilson River Lodge, Big Dave's Lodge in Tillamook, Oregon. Fishing with me, Jordan, Cam, Popoff, and Big Dave. You're going to get to hang out with all 5 of us. We're going to be cooking meals for you every night. We're going to be steelhead fishing the whole weekend. And on top of that, you're getting a whole addicted backpack full of steelhead fishing gear. And this is all inclusive, guys. So if you live in Pennsylvania or New York or wherever, and you are the grand prize winner that gets drawn, we're going to fly you out there. We're going to pay for your food. We're going to pay for everything. So super, super excited about this. Plus there's trips with Jordan you can win, trips with Popoff, Okuma rods and reels.
Yep.
What else is there?
There's like a
Gift
steelhead
cards.
fishing pack, backpack, salmon fishing hand-selected pack. Gift card, hats, clothes. It's all on that.
And one thing I want to
page.
say too about the golden ticket, because I think this is really important. It is like the week that we select like for our personal, like we're going to go out and rip the living crap out of them.
Oh yeah.
So basically it's the end.
So generally it's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
all I'm
Are
you
saying.
guys filming
You
it?
want to
Yep.
win it.
We
You are
also
filming it.
will be filming it. So it will
Yeah.
be a future episode of Addicted. We're going to film the entire weekend and put it into one episode. So super excited about this, guys. You can go to our website.
You'll probably catch one.
And in the header of the website or in the navigations, you'll see Holiday Sweepstakes 2023. You just click on that.
Yep.
It'll tell you all the information that you want to know. You can have one entry for free on that page. So if you want to just go enter, you can enter on that page. But also every dollar that you spend on our website, every single time you spend $1, you get an entry. So if you go on the website, you spend $50, you're going to get 50 entries. You spend 100, you're getting 100 entries. So
And it's going to do it for everyone. You don't need to select something or put in a code for that.
Nope.
It's automatically going to do that in the cart. So you just go on the site, you either fill out that form on the golden ticket page, boom, one entry right there, or you go just make an order because, I mean, steelhead time is coming up. I just picked up some floats and I'm realizing I need to get like probably 10, 15 jigs, just stock back up. Might even need to buy one of those backpacks.
And
off
do
you.
it now before it's in the
Yeah.
middle of the season and all the crap's gone.
Oh, it
Yeah.
gets
Like
crazy.
it's
Yeah.
like COVID taught us all a lesson. Like I've got all my I mean, I was up at Sparkco just freaking last week, just loading up on bobbers
Yeah.
because I'm gonna need them.
They will be gone, too.
They will be gone.
Yeah. And
They're
so
gonna be
many
pissed. All the colors you want gone.
Yep.
So many people are fishing those fixed floats these days, and it's really cool to see because that's something I want to do, like a little podcast with Marlon about it, like just the whole idea of fishing fixed floats. And those are on the website, the steelhead ones. And then, I mean, the jig colors are
Corey
nuts.
has a point.
What was
What's
that?
You just say, can you restock the website?
We had, dude.
I'm
Just so
running
you
out-
guys know, I have over $100,000 in inventory. So if you're,
I know,
Yeah,
except
yeah.
for nightmare twitching. Jig. So a lot of you guys realize what I wanted to use as like realize we don't tie the freaking.
yes, unfortunately,
we
guys,
want-
some of the must-add stuff we don't control, and I wish we did, but we
My
don't.
comment to Corey was like, we want to sell you stuff, so what we have on the website is what we can sell you. Like,
Yeah.
just trust me.
We're out of stock on kill
is.
bags right now. We're working on getting more of them
Yeah.
in, and then a lot of our jigs we're out of stock on, but they should be coming in stock very soon. We've told them that, like, hey guys, winter steelhead season's
Yeah,
coming. We need those
exactly. We
jigs.
wish we had every color of every jig
Yeah.
of every size. Like, trust me.
Yeah.
But they're doing
And
their
there
best.
was a super chat earlier I saw, and it asked, "What's your guys' biggest steelhead?"
Go over to the super
We'll
chat.
talk about that in just a
Yeah,
second.
so something to talk
So
about.
anyway, guys, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. Appreciate you asking about.
okay.
Appreciate you asking about the contest. You can shop on our website, addicted.fishing, or if you don't want to, you don't have to. But we appreciate the support, and thanks so much. Did we miss some super chats?
We did. We missed Kansas, and thank you to Tell It Like It Is here in the North, here in the NW. NM. You want to tell me what the NM is?
New Mexico, we have
Mexico?
kokanee, not real salmon, but we do
Okay.
have a space to actually fish.
What we do have is space to actually fish. I
Yeah, if
feel
we
bad
want
for
to,
you guys.
we want to fish for kokanee, there's like
Yeah,
no one up there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ken, like, don't get me wrong, like, there's what's kind of cool about our area is there are rivers that are very productive and very, very, very crowded, and there's a lot of area that you can get off the beaten path. Like, we literally do have it both worlds and both ways here for the people that want to work for it.
But thanks for the super chat,
We
Ken.
thank you
We
for the super
appreciate it. And then Timothy says, biggest steelhead you've ever caught. I caught a 42.5 by 22.5. That's the biggest one I've ever caught, and I've been chasing it for as long as I can remember.
Yep. And I caught mine during a closed river program that was years and years and years and years ago, before we were even taping them and doing the circle, and even before cellular camera phones.
Yep.
I don't know how big it was, but I've never seen anything even remotely close to it.
And Lucas caught a 38 by 23. Is that what it was?
It wasn't quite 38. It was actually like 37 or something, and
But I just remember the girth.
it was insane.
It was the craziest looking steel, dude. I'm not kidding, Cam. The thing was this deep.
Yeah.
Just a freak.
And just short, like really short, and just when we put it in the steelhead weight calculator, it put it at 22 pounds.
Yeah, 22 pounds.
And it had like no length, just all girth, just
looked
all
like-
meat.
Girth is where you get the weight. So.
Yeah.
It looked like a Chinook. It's
all about the girth, I hear.
It's all about the girth.
If you just saw the shadow, you'd think it was a Chinook.
Yeah.
And those things exist. Oregon coast, you know.
And so we catch it, we hook it on this river years ago, and it's on this bank that's like, it sucks. It's all these rocks, and it's like straight down like this. Lucas is fighting this thing. I'm way upriver, and he's like, yo, and I got a big one. And so, you know, I come running down.
No, you were like, you don't have a big one.
Well, of course, I'm sure I trolled him a little bit, but anyway, I come running down, and he finally lands this thing, and it's in the crappiest spot in the world to take a picture. And so, you know, we try to keep the fish in the water, we try to take care of them, and so Lucas is standing on these stupid ass rocks, and he's trying to like
Next day.
hold the fish, and right as I'm getting ready to snap the picture, he drops it, and it goes in the water, and we never got a picture of it. So Lucas just has to have that thing in his memory, no pics.
I like talking about kokanee. Kokanee, junkany for life. Jonas, we'll do some kokanee stuff. Honestly, we kind of kokanee fish year round here, but we'll do a kokanee live feed at some point in time this spring, and all 7 of you will watch it. It'll be great. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I want to catch some kamloops. However you pronounce that, rainbow. Kamloops? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I really want to catch some of those. They're big.
I just wanted to touch on this because in California rivers, we idle by to not create a wake so no one standing in the drifting boat falls over. Dave, and generally, like, I fish a pretty tight sledding river, and for the most part, if we can, you know, because of the safety or from grounding out a sled, trying to move downriver, at least I do, I generally will try to idle past anybody unless there's a lot of waving on, like where guys will like be drifting down and it'll be kind of tight and you're moving upriver, guys will wave and you'll kind of go around them. If they don't, usually just kind of slide over, let them by. But yeah, that crossing, like I said, you kind of run into the safety thing again where like sometimes a boat needs to stay up on plane, whether he's passing another sled that's drifting or a drift boat that's anchored, whatever it might be. So there is a little bit of that, but at least unfortunately where I'm out on our local river, there is a lot of communication, like guys move up, guys move down. And then you get the one guy that runs through like one of the popular holes up by the hatchery, and then pretty much everybody wants to shoot him when he comes back down a short time later.
Yeah.
So people learn pretty quick on that.
JM, I have too many. Actually, it's funny. Last year during my garage sale, my wife was like, you need to just get rid of these hats. So I took all my hats out of my closet. I probably had, I'm not even joking, probably 100 hats or more. And I just put them all out, and I put on there freaking 3 for $5. And guys were coming and just buying them like by the end of the garage, so I had no hats left. So
Another good one I saw, that's just another quick one-off. Actually, I got 2 quick one-offs here. Reeling in when a guy has a fish on. To me, in any situation, if a guy has a fish on and I'm in danger, like, and usually I'm the judge of that, not the other guy at the fish on. So like, just because it has a fish on doesn't mean he can like bark orders to everybody in the thing and get mad if someone doesn't reel up. Because I've had guys like trying to tell me to reel up in a situation, and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I can see your line angle's like 45 degrees down here, and we're like right here, like you are in la la land. So if you have a fish on, communicate that you have a fish on.
that's the worst.
I see that a lot in some of the tighter trolling areas. Guy will just kind of stand up with a rod bent. Everyone's fishing 360s and heavy leads. It always looks like someone's got a fish on anyways, but you don't know. So if you have a fish on and you generally see a boat where I think I'm going to tangle somebody, I will usually tell them something. And I will say I apologize to that poor family that I took out at Buoy 10 this year. I felt so freaking bad. I didn't communicate with them. I thought thought they were in the clear. and I roped my fish into their boat, and I never warned them. And I smoked all 3 of their rods. I had to help them get it all sorted.
Oh,
We got
way to
everything
go,
worked out.
Cam. Real good, dude.
I left some really good spinner blades for them in the bag when I gave them back to them. But
Yeah,
one
so
thing-
this year, one time I accidentally went into a plunker on the bank. I got a little too close trolling, and I got into him, and I felt just horrible. His stuff was just in a tangled mess, just knotted. So I literally just cut all my stuff and said, hey, dude, you can have all this. And then I had 2 of the custom addicted flashers, brand new, and I gave them to him. But it was funny because he was like, dude, there's no way I would have ever dreamed this up. I'm literally getting tangled by Marlin from Addicted. And he was like stoked that they got tangled, but it was pretty funny.
I'd be pretty pissed off if I was getting tangled by Marlon. I was just kidding.
But usually, like, if that happens too, it's just like Cam said, I try to like hook the person up and apologize. Like, I gave this dude some gear and said, I really am sorry.
Whether it's a fish on, whether it's trolling, whether it's fishing, nobody generally wants to sit there and tangle.
No.
Like, I hear this thing like where the guides like want to troll like next to the bankies and get in there tight and screw their gear up. The last thing on earth I want to do is tangle my freaking lines with a bank angler.
exactly.
Like that is or with another person's fish with a fish on.
Yep.
And here's my advice to that. If you have the fish on, communicate to other boats that you have a fish on. Communicate to other boats that you think he is running their direction. If you're in the other boat, realize one of 2 things is going to happen. You're going to reel up your stuff, you're going to slide away in about 30 seconds, and you're going to lose about maybe a minute of fishing time. If you don't reel up and you run the risk of the fish grabbing your rod, one of 2 things is going to happen for that fish. It's going to pop off and you guys are going to be tangled, or he's going to catch it and you guys are going to be tangled, and now you're going to be dinking around with it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. When that guy had a fish on, obviously the fish are biting. That's the last point in time you ever want. So just realize, like, if a guy hooks a fish next to you, sometimes it's like, dude, just take the onus on yourself, reel your crap in, reset, take a minute, just a minute. It's the insurance policy that you don't screw your day up. Move away, dump them back in, and get the fish, get that fish's buddies that's sitting there. It's really... I know it's tough because you see a fish on and you want to like keep your stuff in there. Sometimes I'll have guys on like one side of the boat reel in versus the other too. That gives them,
I do that a lot.
That's like another like 20 feet of space. But just realize like if you tangle that
I like what
fish,
Richard S says,
you're done.
strongest line wins.
Well, that's true, but it doesn't matter if the strongest line win if you have a bunch of his balled up, broken off stuff on your gear either. It don't work.
Yeah, it happened to me twice this year where I like my whole morning was just ruined because all my stuff got tangled, but it happens.
Yeah, I got one more from Tony, and he said like it's tough because he's fishing a river that's no bait, no scent, and he's seeing people that fish bait and scent. And we've actually got some videos of people like doing that kind of stuff that are not required. So one of 2 things is happening there. Either the person doesn't know, right? Generally, for the most part, fishermen that are going to be out there fishing amongst other people, like you're going to play by the rules. If you're not going to play by the rules, you're going to get called in, you're going to get turned in, you're going to get reported, you're going to get found out pretty darn quick, right?
I'm not sure, Richard. I don't remember seeing any.
Yeah. So you're going to
Oh, the wire. Yes, Richard, I got it.
So,
Yes.
so you're going to get like reported.
Thank you.
So most part of the time, if someone comes down and it's I don't know, like a no snagging area, and they're fishing something like a spinner with a treble hook, or they're fishing bait in a no bait amongst other people. We know a few of these ding dongs out there like to try to be sly about it, but like the reality is like if they're doing that around other people, sometimes it's like, hey man, just don't. I'm not enforcement. I don't think you might not be aware of this, but a no bait restriction starts on this river on December 1st, and it's December 5th, and you're not supposed to fish some bait. Oh, and usually it's, oh crap, oh shoot, sorry, and they'll you're enlightening them. It was their job to know the rules, but you're lending a helping hand.
Yeah.
And then there's those situations where you say, hey man, there's no bait on the river, and the guy tells you to like pound sand and a whole sorts of other stuff. Well, that's the guy you report. But for the most part, a lot of times I feel like people.
That's the hard thing too.
breaking
I think
rules.
people get gun shy even saying anything because dudes are gonna freak
People are
out
jerks,
on them.
but I do honestly believe that like 90% of the time. Now, if you see like snagging in a prevalent snagging area, like don't go down there and start enforcing the rules. Like we had Jeff Wickersham in here from Region 5 just a couple weeks ago.
That would be funny to do, though.
And just like, don't start. You're not enforcement.
Dude, how
It's
about
your
we
job.
film a video doing that? We go down to the local snagging areas with the cameras,
Yeah.
and we just start filming people.
Yeah. You whatever you want to do.
That'd be a
I'm
good
just saying,
video,
like,
don't you guys think?
I'm just saying, like 90% of the time, it is people that don't know. Like honestly, I really do believe that.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a bunch of guys snagging together, it's a whole other story in a hatchery. But like, if you're just running into guys here and there, and yeah, Tony, we were beating up on some smallies today.
Let's get another prize pack. Okay, guys, we're gonna give away. Who wants to win a filet-away fish mat? Who in the comments wants to win a filet-away fish mat? Let's see it. I want to know if you guys want to win this or not. Let's get some comments rolling in here.
Dude, last week when we were in here,
Great video idea. Do it. Yes, yes.
it would be kind of fun.
And just hire like 2 monster bodyguards. So you just have these bodyguards with you, and you just go right. Hey, so I just wanted to like, why do you snag and like interview them?
I'm not snagging. I caught it. It's in front of the gills.
And the characters you would get down there, dude. These tweak jobs. Be good entertainment. Pick me. Better let me win.
Oh, someone said orange one. Hey, come on, beggars can't be choosers.
I don't know if we have any
Don't
orange
more
ones.
orange ones.
I think we got rid of them. Let's see what's in here.
Already gave away the orange ones.
Yep. More blacks. More blackies. No more orangies. Okay, we got a lot of people that want to win it. So guys, if you guys want an opportunity to win the filet-away mat, please do me a favor. Let me just check. Let me see how many likes are on the YouTube video. Let me go look. Let me see how many of you guys have actually thumbed up the video here. Let me just go peek. Let me see how many. There's only 100, there's 290 of you watching right now on YouTube and only 128 thumbs up. So everyone, go thumb up. Go thumbs up the video here for me, please. Smash the thumbs up button. Oh yeah, I can see it going up. And then again, just keep commenting, guys. We're gonna grab someone randomly from the comments here. It is 7:38 right now. We will pick a winner at 7:40. So we'll give you guys 2 minutes. Get as many comments as you can in there.
TikTok.
Don't spam it though. Oh, the orange is on. You want me to take the orange one off the wall? Not doing it. It's my decoration. Lots of people want to win the filet-away. How many of you guys out there have filet-away mats or have seen them? That's what I want. I keep these things everywhere. I got 2 in my truck, 3 in my boat. I even got them in my little boat just in case I want to fillet out a largemouth.
Perfect. That's good of you. Doing the Lord's work, saving all the baby salmon. Kill them all. I killed every smallie I caught today.
You did not.
I slit their gills and threw them back in the water.
Lies.
Yeah.
I saw your comment. Very nice to meet you guys at the Margarita Factory, and I do love that place. It is one of my favorite Mexican restaurants. It's amazing. A couple little future addicts were there, and they were stoked.
Nice.
We actually got a little package come out to you guys very soon, so stay on the lookout for that. I think we mailed it today. Is it 7:40 yet? Yep, 7:40. Pick a winner.
740.
Pick a winner, Hayden.
Man, Hayden is on it tonight.
He's on it,
He's
dude.
just on it.
Do it. Do it up. Pick him. David Blaylock. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah.
There you go, David. You won a filet-away fish mat. Shoot us. He said I have an orange one. Well, guess what? Now you got one in black.
Now you're going Halloween, bro.
Shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you include your name, your address, and let us know that you won the black filet-away fish mat. We will get it shipped out to you.
He went right. He went right over. I didn't have to say anything. Went right over to the comment section.
Right back to it.
Right back to new comments.
Right back. He's on it, dude.
I mean, dude.
He's on it. Also, when we announced the golden ticket contest, I've been seeing tons of orders coming in on my phone. So everyone that's been going to the website, placing orders, thank you guys so much for the support. It means the world. It's what keeps Addicted alive. It's what keeps this content alive. So we appreciate you so much for shopping on our website.
At least pick a person who didn't already have one.
It's random, guys.
It's just if you make a comment, you're in it. and the randomizer picks it, and the randomizer is the judge, jury, and the executioner, and the supplier of the black flyaway fish pin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, what else we got?
Zog killed a smallie the other day too. Cam.
What's the next subject?
I'm sure he did. When's the next bass fishing tournament video? Not gonna happen. When you guys
No, stop asking. Stop doing that.
I have the next one. Trolling in the crowd.
In the crowd.
In the crowds. So no different than float fishing in a crowd. No different than float fishing in a crowd. No different than
Doing anything really.
anything in a crowd. When you're in the crowd, you do what the crowd does. A couple points I want to bring up with that is like when it comes to direction, when it comes to making way, and everyone starts to get into like a pattern, and everyone stays in that pattern. Also, when you're trolling in the crowd, another big thing of advice, and I saw there was a little bit of a problem with one of them freaking guides. I'll say it, guides up there this spring. I'm not gonna say where, but for whatever reason, new guide, he would get tangled with a boat, and then he would get tangled with another boat, and then he would get then tangled with another boat. And what we figured out when he went by one time, and when he reeled up his rods for whatever reason, maybe he had a fish on me or not, but I looked over and I'm like, okay, he was using really light lead, like not really light, like really light lead, and not understanding how to control light lead in a situation where he had a lot of people. The trolling crowd was all fishing, I'm just going to say 12, 16 ounces, whatever, like heavy lead, and keeping their lines down, keeping the line down an angle.
Oh, yeah.
Where this guy after he tangled 3 boats that morning, you have to kind of realize when you're the common denominator. If there's a problem in our interaction out there at all the boats, and it's you and this guy, and you and this other guy, and you and this other guy, well, the problem is you. You're it. He starts cutting into these kind of old local boys up there, and things got a little hey man, why don't you go back to where you came from, and those kind of comments start flying. Nobody really needs that. But the reality was he was tangling with all these other people and not wanting to change what he was doing. He was in Rome, and he wasn't doing what the Romans were doing. So not only is it important to keep the pattern and to keep the pace when you're trolling in those large crowds, it's important to be using kind of the right gear. Again, you wouldn't go to an area where there was 10 guys bobber fishing, shoulder to shoulder, and just take a plunking rod. Just I'm going to fish here, boom, and throw the plunking rod in. To me, it's almost kind of the same thing. Don't troll through the middle of the pack in the opposite direction with the top up in the wind. Oh my.
I do not think we should get too far down this. We're in a season that's not going to happen for months. So let's not talk too much about this.
But how about this, though?
Apply it to something that makes sense.
Right. But then, okay, the other big topic, so common denominator, right? Common denominator. Don't be the common denominator in every problem. This also goes, another guy had commented that a guy was casting over him. They were fishing a tight, crowded, one of these spots where you're fishing about from mile away from another guy, and he asked for tips. In those situations.
I think this is a good subject to talk about, because this is what we're seeing more of a lot right now. People fishing hatcheries, big crowded areas.
Yeah.
A lot of the float fishing holes are going to have multiple anglers in them.
Yep. And so when you're in those situations that you are fishing around other people, there is a cadence, and there is a nuance into when you cast, how far you cast, and the pattern that you guys cast, right? And so if you're crossing someone's I'm going to back this up real fast. I was not referring to the toilet bowl at Drano. We're just supposed to leave that one. That one's out right there. Not referring to the toilet bowl at Drano. Because I don't fish it. Anyways, when you're in that, I don't want to keep, it's like when we do videos, I keep saying, hey guys. So I just went 3 days with Alex not saying, hey guys. So he told me every time I had to say it, I'd pay I'd pay him $5. I don't want to say situation anymore. When you're in that setup where you have a bunch of people lined up on the bank, it is important for the guy that's on the downstream side to make his cast. And it can be slightly upstream above the guy in front of him, because you're kind of if you're setting bobbers or you're running beads through a hole, it can be a little more upstream. But the reason why you do that guy
I'm bad
down
at
below,
that.
he goes first.
I'm
then
so
the next
bad
guy
at that.
upstream of him, then he goes. And then the next guy upstream of him goes. The guy upstream next to him goes and goes. What happens is by the time the lower guy, it sweeps down, the other guy's going to sweep behind. And as he is starting to retrieve his line, the other guy is still finishing a sweep, and everything flows. And even this lower guy, and the upper guy, kind of is getting down and getting pressed up against the bank, or his drift is done and he's retrieving line. It's all right for him to cast over.
Yeah.
He's got to start it.
Yep.
He's got to start the cadence, and it's cast. Depends how fast
So the
water
one
is.
thing I always did back in the day too is I would walk up to those scenarios and I would just watch for a little bit. Like, let me just watch these guys and see what they're doing before I go down and get into the mix.
Sounds like flossing, Dane. Absolutely not. This could be like bobber and egg springer fishing, for instance. It does not pertain only to flossing. However, in those situations, said it again. In those scenarios, you probably really do have to be on it because a lot of the flossing areas are.
Oh yeah, if you're
faster
flossing,
water.
if you're
It's like
flossing or
faster
snagging,
water,
you
or it's
definitely
like
need
the
to be in a
Puyallup,
rhythm.
and you're kind of lined up.
It's
Now, one
really
thing
in
I'm gonna
Portland
say-
to be in a rhythm if you're snagging or flossing.
One thing I'm going to say is as you're doing that rhythm, like guy casts, guy casts, guy casts. If this guy so I cast and then Marlon misses a beat and like kind of misses that cadence, misses that boom, boom. Next guy cast, then it's on the guy above him to like see that like, oh, he's rebaiting and he's got his head down. Like that guy needs to cast because if he doesn't, by the time this lower guy runs down, or the guys at the bottom of the drift like slide in, they're like, the other guy's gear is still out in front and they're waiting, right? So you got it. There is a rhythm. Like that is what I'm trying to like. There is a rhythm to it. And you can put 25 freaking guys shoulder to shoulder to shoulder to shoulder in a 50-yard run and pretty much, unless you have that one like common denominator guy like I was kind of referring to in the trolling, you can pretty much do it. Like you absolutely, it can be done. If that guy.
So what you're saying is you don't want to walk up to the hole and cast like way the hell upriver and then let it run 100 yards down because that's usually what I like to do.
We're in Rome. We're gonna do. Yeah. You're Marlon's the king of the hero drift. Like, oh yeah, 200 yards. Now I can barely see my bobber binoculars. Yeah, there it is. Boop.
I've lost a lot of fish doing that.
Now, if you are a guy that is constantly tangling another guy in those situations, there's a couple things going on there. One, the rhythm's off. Two, it could be the gear again, right? So we talked about like with the trolling, the guys with the lighter weights that are tangling up. Well, if you're drift fishing or with your bobber fishing, if a guy's using like a little lighter lead or something that's like sweeping through the hole or using like a technique that's a little bit different than everybody else, it's not going to go well there. And so, you tangle a guy up, accidents happen. I tangle people up trolling. I tangle people up all the time. Like, you know what? It's cool. You just let it go, work through it, get untangled, get back to fishing. That's what you're there for. You tangle again. Okay. Something's wrong. Like, we should be able to do this. Tangle the third time. Something's really wrong. And you guys need to figure out, or you need to move if the guy's a jerk. Like, that's when it shouldn't. Most fishermen out there can identify the problem and then not do it again, right? Except for the guy that trolled that really light lead. So if you have someone that's insisting on fishing kind of like the wrong way and he's like tangling you like every single time, sometimes honestly you're just going to have to move. Like you're going to move downstream, you're going to move upstream, you're going to be annoyed. You can start a fight, whatever. There's always big words out here. But you'd be like the guy at the hatchery. Like, I don't know what happened there, but they went to fisticuffs.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Everyone saw that video in the Northwest, but like the reality is, sometimes like you just gotta move.
Cool. So the other topic I've been seeing a lot that we haven't touched on is just boat ramp etiquette. What kind of things to know? What kind of things not to know?
This is my biggest.
See you, Lucas.
Biggest. Send them link to this video. Well, I mean, I don't know what leads they're fishing or how they're screwing it up, but just don't be the guy in the hole that everybody talks about when you leave. So think about that. Like, because generally it's like, you that freaking moron. Like, don't be that guy. Boat ramps. Like, boat ramps get busy. They get crowded. I made a lot of comments about that today when we were the only boat launched, I think, in the whole pool today. It's pretty awesome. It doesn't happen like that all the time. A lot of times our boat ramps are real busy, especially drift boats, whether it's sleds, trolling season, whatever. The biggest thing people can do at busy boat ramps is to be ready to launch a boat if you are the next person in line.
Yeah.
The key to boat ramp smoothness is not necessarily how fast a guy can like launch a boat. Obviously, like everyone wants to get in the water, everyone wants to do their thing. But what I'm saying is that, boat ramps right here, guy backs in and he's backing in and loading the boat. Next guy is ready to go. He's not putting rods in the boat. He's not unstrapping. He's not putting his plug in. So the second that boat slides off, this guy can get on it. The boat ramp is being utilized constantly. There's no gap between guys launching the boats. If you're next in line and that guy pulls his boat out and you're still like undoing your gear and you're in one of those spots where the next guy can't pass you, like you better get on it, because now that boat ramp is sitting idle for a few minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it might be, while the next guy behind him, he might be ready to go, but he's waiting for you to dink around and not be utilizing the boat ramp. Like if that boat ramp's there and there's a line and it's busy, there should be a car on it every time a guy pulls out, next guy on it. If you're the next guy and you're not on it, that's on you. Like that, you're not really staying with the norm. You're probably going to get a talking to if you're really too slow, and things aren't like, it's not going to be best. The other part to that, and this is my biggest bitch, I guess, is in the spots where you have like very little like docking space. In fact, one morning, a couple falls ago, we're sitting in the dark. We're going to launch. A boat backs down. He used the ramp. He unloaded his boat, and nothing happened. Like for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and there's 3 boats in front of me, and now there's 25 boats behind, and this one gentleman was taking 10 minutes to launch his boat, and I was getting furious. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I was getting ticked. So I go walking down there. I was talking with another guy. I'm like, I want to see what's going on. Like maybe there was an accident, or maybe something happened. So I go walking down there, and here's this old boy trying to he's by himself, and he's trying to put the boat on the dock, but there's 2, I'm gonna say it, guides that were getting their gear ready on the outside of the dock, literally like scrubbing flashers and stuff. And it was dark out, but they were holding the only 2 spots that a single old dude, wants to go fishing, launches his boat, he has nowhere to dock his damn boat, and he's by himself. I don't begrudge the guy that he's by himself. I expect him to take a little bit longer, but I don't expect him to take longer to unload that boat because these 2 dingbats are sitting there tied to the dock, like scrubbing their flashers, waiting for their clients to get there. So I yell at them. I hope they're not listening because they would remember me yelling at them. So I yelled at them and basically said, "What are you, scared of the dark? Get the," I expressed my interest in them moving on and pulling off the dock so we could get the line moving. So boat ramp etiquette is kind of like it's all in one, right? Like if you're impeding a guy from launching his boat and staging, like if you're like cleaning gear and stuff like that, get off the dock and don't hurt those boats from getting on and off that ramp as fast as they can. You're that guy. So other than that, and turn off your damn headlights.
Headlights are a big thing.
Did I miss
sure.
anything on the docks, guys?
Big
5 minutes is too long to wait. Kevin, I'd agree with
Also,
you.
try to be just nice. Like what
Right.
Cam has to say is a lot of times you do have like newer anglers, and hey, if you are a new angler, you should probably go get some practice in before you go launch in a busy fishery. Right. But at the same time, it doesn't hurt to get out and just be like, hey, can I help you? Yeah. Offer the people some help.
Yeah, stupid guides, exactly. Help out where you can, hold a boat where you can, understand that but the one thing, even a newer boater, like I said, this is the main thing where people get in trouble. Boat slides off the boat, the other guys in front, they launched, they're taking their truck and trailer up, everything's free, and they're just sitting there, taking rod sleeves off or doing whatever the hell they're doing when there's 10 boats behind them looking at them like, boat ramp's open, get on it. So even if you're new, you should still be having that in your head. Like,
I feel like every
that
boat
truck
ramp
moves,
that I've
man.
ever been to, there's always people like tied off to the dock.
Sometimes they have to though. Not two guides that have already like launched their boats and they probably got there hours early and like the line, dude, it took like, and I think what happened was the whole reason why it backed up is because it took like 30 minutes to launch 4 boats, like at 5:30 in the morning. I was like, what in the hell is going on? Like most of the guys that are getting there generally at 5 a.m. are generally like a little more on it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, what in the world? And it was
Crazy.
like abnormally slow. Well, there was no place to park a boat. So if you're in that spot, you parked your boat, you used the dock, you came down, you parked your truck and trailer by yourself. You can do that. It's what's there for. Come down, hop in your boat, slide away.
Practice backing down in the off season. That is such a huge
for
tip.
Sure. For
Like,
sure. Absolutely.
big tip.
Understand that you don't want to be that guy. Just don't be that guy. I float down to the very bottom of the launch in anger. Yeah, there's I pull over with like spot lock in the sled and go slide over there. The raft, I'll do the same thing, pull it up on the bank. Just kind of get out of the way. What about coming back in? What is the etiquette for getting off of the water? The etiquette for getting off of the water is boats will stage wherever they can stage, and sometimes those single guys have to use the docks. They stage wherever they can stage, and then it's not the line of the boats that pulled up to the dock, it's the line of who's bringing down the trailers. And I got into quite an altercation with an absolute ding-dong. I might as well tell this. Do you want me to tell the story? Do you know the story?
I know, you've told me a couple times.
Yeah, and to understand this predicament, just because a boat pulls up in front of you, like they might be by themselves, so they like tie their boat. They'll go up and grab their truck and trailer and come down. But in the meantime, another boat might have been behind him to go grab his truck and trailer. If that truck and trailer beats him down to where the ramp is not being utilized and he needs to get on it and he's first to get on it, he gets on it. There is no pecking order just from the time the boat arrives to the trailer coming down. So it's going to be, for taking out, it's stage your boat, trailer's coming down, right? I ran into a spot a few years ago during summer sturgeon season where I was by myself. Oh, I wasn't by myself. I had got rid of my clients. Pulled my boat up, parked my boat, and there was a colored boat sitting, I'm not going to say the colors of the name of the boat or whatever, sitting beside me, and there was a guy holding that boat. Okay, cool, whatever. I just wrote it off, walked up, jumped in my truck and trailer, drove it around the loop that everybody is supposed to drive around. The pecking order, when in Rome, I'm doing what the Romans do, go around. Boat pulls out, I'm the next guy. I've got to back in. So I go and I back in, and I see this truck and trailer over to the side, and he starts like backing in like against the flow of traffic, or I don't know what he was doing, and he's yelling something, but I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm way down the dock, whatever, pull my boat up. And I kind of like pull my truck up by the truck, and he's like looking down at his steering wheel. He's like, now he's like jackknifed in the middle of like all the boat trailers, like trying to pull out. I don't know what this guy's doing. And I pull up there, and apparently he was yelling at me because I moved my truck trailer in the direction that I was supposed to be going, and I backed my boat in, and I loaded my boat, and I left. And he was the one going backwards against the traffic, and then his buddy, then when he first came up to the ramp, then told me that they were there first, and so they should have pulled their trailer first. And I then informed them and expressed my discontent with what they were thinking in very colorful and expletive words that they were wrong. And if they tried to pull that stunt during buoy 10 or some other during really, really, really busy salmon season, they were probably going to be receiving other guidance from other people, right? So it is the trailer. We want to see what this ding dong looks like. Oh, I can describe the boat to the T because doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that it is the order, like stage a boat, go get your truck and trailer, don't dilly-dally, get your truck and trailer, and it's the order of the truck and trailers coming down in the direction of the flow of traffic, get the boats out. Sometimes people have help, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the guys that don't have help have to use the dock, and they're going to park a boat there, and they're going to go up and get in line, and they're unfortunately going to have to wait till the other guys clear out. There is no like saving spots, taking turns, pecking order. It's use the ramp trailer, use the ramp trailer, use the ramp trailer, use the ramp trailer. Okay, anything else?
No, makes a lot of sense.
Cameron, was that in Hood River? No, it was not. It was not during the winter sturgeon season. So any questions? Plot twist, it was Clint. And it was Clint, and that's why he's not our producer.
Yeah, guys, get your last minute questions in. We're probably
Yeah.
going to be wrapping it up here pretty quick.
Holy crap, it's 8 o'clock.
It's
We
8
started
o'clock.
on time, so we've been going at this for an hour and a half.
So I'm going to get another filet mat going here for one last giveaway at the end of the night. Any last minute etiquette questions?
Low hold on the ramp. That's literally what this guy, I think, thought I did to him, is that I low hold him, and there is no like low holding at a ramp. Like, it's, you went the wrong way, there is no pecking order, and yeah. Fortunately, it was me and not another nicer individual. Yeah. Marlon.
I normally just don't get in confrontations with anyone anymore unless they really
Well, this guy
push me to the edge.
This guy yelled at me, and then I didn't know he was yelling at me. So then I pulled up, and another buddy in the upper lot was like, "Can you believe that guy? What was he yelling at you?" I'm like, "Wait, he was yelling at me?" Well, then the guy pulled up next to me, and when he got out of his truck, I think he was going to say something to me, but I started saying a few things first and explaining the situation, and then he quickly loaded his boat and left. It was a good time. He needed the education. I wasn't being confrontational. I was enlightening. I think you were definitely at the right. Christopher, I did that guy a favor, because if you would have pulled that freaking stunt with any other people, like during a really busy time, it probably, and like I said, it wasn't really that big of a deal. It was like 3 or 4 boats like pulling out. It wasn't even like that big of a deal, but it's very clear the guy did not know which direction the boat trailers were coming into the ramp, and he decided he didn't want to get in line with the 3 or 4 boat trailers that were coming into the ramp, and yeah, it wasn't very good. Yeah. Education is key. That's right. Oh, scroll up real quick for me. That helps. Fine. Yeah. Yeah. Hook up the mat. What about you? Adam is okay. Yeah, I'm over it.
We good?
We're good.
No more questions.
8 o'clock. I'm looking at. It's kind of fun to watch the crazy at the ramp. You're absolutely right. But don't be a part of the crazy. Don't be the guy everyone talks about later. What do you think?
I think we're good. I like these live feeds like this. I think it's good.
Yeah.
So again, you guys try to do your best to educate new anglers out there and get them to understand. And you know, if you hear people, this would be a good live feed for people to go back and watch after the fact. So definitely send this out to buddies, or if you have new anglers that you think would benefit from some etiquette talk, let's get them educated.
Yeah. Let's do this one real fast, because this one could probably save some heartache later. No, that's not the winner. That's it. Click on that. So
I have a story about that.
Yeah.
Fish checkers at the dock.
Yeah. So go ahead. What if the fish checkers are holding up the dock? Do I have the right to say something? Over the years, like, I have never generally seen, and I'm gonna say generally because I don't know about like some of these Oregon Coast checkers, Washington.
That's what I want to talk about.
Right. So I have been in situation where like checkers checking fish, but my trailer's here or whatever like that. I've literally told them, like, you can get them up there. Like, for the most part, a fish checker that's been around a while, like, will understand that they can't hold up the ramps, especially in those like tense, like domestic situations with husbands and wives trying to load boats and all sorts of crap, right? Like, they're not going to do that. Maybe you have a story where that, and when I've been in those times where, you know, fish checker needs to be like, hey, I'm just going to be right up top. Like, most of the time, like our guys, on our side, they'll wait up top.
So that was the scenario. So when I've ever launched an Astoria, which is a lot at East Basin, I've launched there a million times. Whenever I've been checked by a fish checker, he's always up top, like checking people in the parking lots. And normally, the thing to do is like, you know, you pull up, you let your dude off, you go get your boat.
Right.
That's what everyone does. This guy lost his mind on us because we would not come to the dock and let him check the fish while Mikey was getting the trailer.
So hold on, was there a bunch of people?
There was tons of people, and everyone was trying to get their trailers.
Nope.
And so I like lost it on the guy. I mean, to a point where I like lost my patience. I was like yelling.
So everything's busy. Hold on. So everything's busy. So you're supposed to sit there on the dock.
That's what he was trying to get me to do.
Check your fish. So then the old boy behind you can't go and stage his boat there.
That's exactly what he was trying to get me to do.
I would tell him, like, I'll see you up top. I'm not going to put my
dock
on the boat.
And he kept just yelling at me like, sir, I need you to come to the dock now. And I'm like, guess what, bud? I ain't coming to the dock. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
No, I will afford you the opportunity to check my fish when I'm going to put my boat in a position that is going to be landed.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because I was.
I could be wrong on this, but I can tell you, like, that's how I would have handled the situation. I'm like, I'm not going to cork the dock. And most of the time, like, I will say this, like, so back when
I've never had them do it there. They always check you in the parking lot.
Right. Back when I was a fish checker for like 7 years for the department. And I can tell you, like, if it was slow and I can just kind of get the onesie twosies as they were coming into the dock, no problem. But if it got busy, you automatically just had to go up because you're not going to, in those situations, the checker's probably not going to get everybody. And so you go up to the areas where they're strapping their boats down and they're doing that, and then you pick them off there, and you're going to stay as busy as you can, checking as many as you can. Like, forcing people to maneuver their boats into spots and situations where you're going to delay other people and heck no, I would. Yeah. As a fish checker, I would have never done that. I would have been, if that was that busy, I would have been sweating.
Dude, even
crazy
Sharon
up top.
even you know how Sharon, she never get, dude, even she was like pissed, like kind of fired up, yelling at the guy.
Yeah, I bet.
And I told him, I'm like, dude, come check me in the dock. I'm not saying you can't check me. I'm just like, I'm not coming to the dock right now. I'm trying to clean my boat. I'm waiting for the trailer to come down.
No, he'll have plenty of opportunity to check you. So
yeah, it was weird.
I don't
it was
know
a weird
if there's
situation.
a law there because they don't carry a badge. They don't have enforcement. They can confiscate a fish and ask, and then can write up a thing that basically, like,
if it's like a,
if they find like a wild coho and the guy thought it was a Chinook, they can, in Oregon, not Washington, in Oregon, a fish checker can confiscate it, and then they write like a referral with the evidence to get a ticket citation. But I don't think they can, like, straight up tell you what to do. But you are required to allow a fish checker to check your fish.
What if I just say I plead the fifth?
Well,
I mean, does that work?
I mean, honestly, what you could also do, I mean, and here's the problem with all that, you can just literally lie to them and say you don't have any. Which you don't want to do, because if enforcement checks you and they didn't have zero,
really
you will get a ticket.
Whereas if you,
I'm really surprised that a
I plead
fish
the
check,
fifth, I believe in the U.S. Constitution, and I don't know what else to tell you.
I'm really surprised a fish checker would do that.
Yeah, it was weird.
Because they're not going to be
Plead the fish. That'd be a good shirt.
Plead the fish.
All right.
Plead the fish.
Okay, guys.
Why'd you miss work today? I plead the fish.
Who do we got? Kyle. Just Kyle. One name. Kyle. Over on YouTube. Kyle, shoot us an email to orders@addicted.fishing. Make sure you include your name, your address. Let us know that you won the Filet Fish Mat in black, and we'll get it shipped out to you. Congrats, Kyle.
You're going to get the black mat. Okay. All
right, guys.
Golden ticket. Already did it.
Yep, we talked about the golden ticket. I saw a couple questions asking about the winter drop. The winter drop, guys, is December 10th. December 10th. Mark your calendars. That is the winter drop. We got lots of good new holiday stuff. We should be able to get everyone's orders out before Christmas if you order on that drop day.
Do you have like a cutoff date you're going to, like, say guaranteed?
December 15th or the 17th. I can't remember. I think free shipping day is Green Monday is December 12th, and that's what eBay coined as like the last day you can, like, guarantee
an item from
getting people stuff
across the country. Yeah. Okay.
So,
but I didn't know that.
December 10th. Yeah. Get your orders in. Winter drop's coming. Shop on the website from now until the sweepstakes ends, and you guys are going to be getting on a pretty awesome little adventure with us. One person is, and there's a lot of good prizes, so we appreciate it. Any other little last minute things? Your sturgeon season's filled, I'm assuming?
Full
for sturgeon.
For the month of January, and I doubt we'll be going even past that. So
cool.
Yeah, bud.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the